Hello and welcome to Support for Stressful Times. I'm Weiser Cornell. We like to call this webinar a lovely oasis. Hopefully, this is a place you can feel you're not alone, where you can get some help for the stressful emotions that can be coming during the times we live in, and feel connected to me and other people who are going through the same things. That's our hope for you. And our topic today is loneliness. Here we are, generally, in most cases, on the other side of the lockdown and the pandemic. So we may be remembering loneliness from the last few years, but not actually experiencing it as much right now. Or maybe your life is one where you do suffer from loneliness day by day. And that can be such a painful experience. But you know, I wanted to talk about another side of loneliness. And that is that it might be that even when other people are around, there is a kind of loneliness because there's something in me that isn't being seen or met by the other people who happen to be around me. So a kind of loneliness might be a loneliness even when there are other people who aren't meeting or seeing me. I loved my original family, mother, father, brother, sister, and yet whenever I was with them, we talked about general things or things we were doing or their lives, but I never felt like anybody really looked at me and said, "And how are you?" I hope your families are different from that, but there may be something in each of us that may be longing to be met by somebody. So there may be a loneliness because people are missing from your life. There may be a loneliness because there's something in you not being met by the people who are around you. And a third kind of loneliness might be that you're missing someone in particular. So people may be around you, but that person isn't. Maybe that's a person you lost through death or for some other reason. And you're lonely for that person. Yeah. So feel free to write in the chat anytime. I'm a good multitasker. I can see what you're saying. And sending your chat to everyone means that everyone will see it, which is really nice. Sometimes you can respond to what other people have written. Give some support and appreciation to what others have said. But I'd like to take you through a little process where we spend a little time with the feelings of loneliness that we might have for any of these three reasons. And what we're going to do today has to do with the qualities of self-care and gentleness toward ourselves. It's my favorite way to be with stressful feelings. If there's something coming up, something I'm feeling, something that isn't pleasant or comfortable, then I get to be with that. I can be with that. And that makes such a nice difference. It really does. And there's a kind of loneliness when our feelings are not allowed to be felt by us. And then it's not so much I'm lonely, but you know what? My feelings of sadness are lonely, or my feelings of anxiety are lonely because there's nobody here who's listening, who's saying, yes, I know you're there. So we're going to do a little exercise together, a little process. It's not really an exercise. It's a process, a gentle process of acceptance and compassion for those places inside you that might be feeling lonely right now. I'm just noticing in the chat, Sue says about what I said, I can relate to that. Isabel says it's true. I'm longing to be seen the way I am. And Mary writes, my husband travels frequently, and I don't know anyone locally who celebrates the earth on days like today, summer solstice. Yes, the blessings of the solstice to all of you today. Thank you, Mary. All right, so if you like, you can join me in pausing right now. Being aware of your body and being aware of how you're sitting, how you're supported. And just being aware of resting into the support that's here for you right now. Now that support might be through the chair you're sitting on or whatever you're sitting on. And also through the earth, beneath the chair, beneath the floor. The earth itself is a kind of deep support for all of us. Today, on the day of the solstice, we're aware of the turning of the earth and the movement of the earth around the sun and how that's a support to us as well. So pausing to let yourself feel the support that's here, support that is here through your body and through your breath. And I'm going to invite you also to be aware in the inner area of your body, sensing in that area that includes your throat, your chest, down into your stomach and abdomen area. You could have your eyes closed. That wouldn't hurt. Just feeling the inner area of your body. This inner area of your body is always willing to communicate with you about how you are. Even if you feel not much there right now, it is an act of love for yourself to even pause and sense how you feel in there. And you might feel something enjoyable in your body, like a feeling of warmth or comfort, aliveness, happiness. And or you might feel something stressful, tightness, a sense of gripping, or emotions like fear or sadness. What I'd like to invite you to do is make a welcome for whatever is here right now. Whatever I'm feeling is welcome. Now, if your first reaction to that idea is to say, no, I don't want to welcome some of these feelings, here's a little tip for you. See if you can welcome that. So welcoming the not welcoming. Yeah, even the not welcoming is welcome here. Yeah, that's okay too. Notice how it feels when you do that. Now we're going to bring in the possibility that there's something you're feeling that's a kind of loneliness. And let's try out the sentence, I'm lonely. Notice how that feels inside your body. I'm lonely. Might feel not true. That'd be fine. Just check it. Might be true. You might want to change the word. It's not that I'm lonely, it's. And now let's try this sentence. Something in me is lonely. Something in me is lonely. Notice if that brings a difference, right? I'm lonely, something in me is lonely. Feeling that difference. You might find that something in me is lonely feels more true than I'm lonely. but just check. And we're talking about different kinds of loneliness. So you're maybe wanting right now to sense what kind of loneliness this is. Might be a very, very painful loneliness that comes from really no one being there for you. It might be missing one particular person, someone you've lost, someone who's not in your life anymore, even if there are others in your life. In that case, you might want to say, I'm lonely for that person. It's okay if it doesn't feel right to say something in me is lonely for that person. We're really just wanting to sense what fits for you, what's right for you. And if what you're feeling is something painful, something uncomfortable, all the more reason to be gently present with that feeling. It's been waiting for you. The feeling itself has been waiting for you to be with it just as it is. If you can see if that feels true. Like it's glad you're here. It's glad you're aware. The feeling itself is glad you're here. Now, there was another kind of loneliness we talked about, and that's when there's something in you lonely for being met, for being seen, even though there are people around you. There's something about yourself that is not being met, not being seen, not being recognized. So checking if it might be something like that. There's something in me lonely for recognition, something in me lonely for appreciation, but it's not being appreciated like more than other people. It's just, here I am as myself. Are you seeing me? Am I being seen? Sometimes we go in a situation and everybody's polite and a sort of generic conversation, but who really looks at us? Who really says, wow, how are you? So pausing right now to sense if there's a place in you that's longing for someone to look and say, oh, here you are. Here you are. And then that really might be something in you. So my body gets seen, but something in me is not seen. Something in me is lonely or longing, or another word that might fit better. And at least right now, you be the one who can see that inside you. That you can say to that one, yes, I know you're there. And I know it's hard, you would say to it. I know it's hard not to be seen by these other people in my life. Yes, I know you're there. And you're saying to it, I know it's hard not to be seen by these other people in my life. And notice what that's like, how it is when you do that. Checking in with your body. What happens in your body when you can say to something that you feel? And if the whole idea of loneliness didn't fit for you today, maybe there are some other feelings that just need to be acknowledged by you in this gentle, accepting, welcoming way. It's worth taking time with this. Sometimes I put my hand on my heart or on some other place in my body that's feeling stressed. And as if with the hand, we're saying, yes, I'm with you. Such a beautiful thing to say to yourself. Yes, I'm with you. And maybe there's a little more about what it is that is not being seen by others. What it is in you that's longing to be recognized, longing to be seen, longing to be met. Maybe you're looking for friends, playmates, kindred souls. Nothing wrong with that. There's something that you love, but nobody in your life also loves it, like music or flowers. Wouldn't it be great? Let yourself say, wouldn't it be great to have a kindred spirit for this? Like celebrating the Earth Days. Wouldn't it be great? And that it's okay to have a longing that isn't being fulfilled right now. There's a big deal there. Is it okay that I have this longing for someone or some people in my life who meet me in this way? Is it okay to want that? Yeah, longing can be painful, poignant, but without longing, I feel we're not really alive. Longing is a natural part of life. So, hey, let's bring this process to a gentle completion so we can chat about it. And the way I like to do that is to pause and just say inside, thank you. Thank you to your body. Thank you to the somethings in you that you've been with and that have been communicating with you. And then beginning to bring awareness out so that you can feel the room around you. And if your eyes were closed, you can let your eyes come naturally open. And I would love to hear from you in the chat about how that was. Nadia writes in the chat, I'm sensing something in me wants to be isolated. Aha, there's the other side of loneliness being painful. Maybe something else is painful. Being around other people is painful. What was it like to be gentle with yourself, to welcome even the stressful feelings? What was it like to be curious about whether it's something in you that's feeling lonely or whether it's all of you? Gwendolyn writes, I'm noticing the moments of connection and joy that I do have in my life. Oh, that's great, Gwendolyn. I kind of meant for us to do that today. That is a wonderful suggestion. As we notice what's missing, it might even be an inspiration to us to notice what we do have. Moments of connection and joy. Places where we are met. People, even if they live far away, with whom we do feel we can be ourselves. Sue is writing, I have such longing for my family to see and recognize my light. Oh, I really hear you on that, Sue. That makes so much sense. Of course you do. Agnes writes, being aware of my longing makes me wider inside. Oh, yes. There's more to me when I include my longing. Beautiful. Sharon writes, a warm feeling came with Anne's words about longing being a natural part of life. It's a way of knowing myself inside and reaching outward. And Barb writes, the longing word was exactly it. I have a longing to be paid attention to instead of being the one who listens to others. I wonder how many here can relate to that. Sometimes the kind of people who are drawn to a call like this might be the very people who are the ones in the room listening to everyone. And there's kind of a hope, isn't there? Do you ever have this hope that if I listen to them enough, they'll realize and they'll say, but what about you? Maybe it's your turn. And somehow that often doesn't happen. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I wonder what we can do. One thing, there are people who will listen back, but that's that kindred spirit thing, isn't it? Lily writes, this was just the right process for me today. And something in me does feel met and heard. Oh, good. My body feels full of warmth like a glow. And Simone writes, I saw myself as the little girl I was a long time ago. And Gwendolyn felt a deep sense of ease in welcoming feelings of longing, and so helpful to hear the particulars of types of loneliness. Oh, good. Giovanna writes, I could feel the longing to be seen as well as the fear to be seen. Okay, it's really wonderful that, Giovanna, that you were able to make room for both sides of this. There's a longing to be seen and a fear to be seen. It's also something that can make us wider when we can pause and sense that there's more than just one single feeling. There may be two feelings that appear at first to be opposite, but there's something interesting about feelings that appear to be opposite. If you accept both sides and don't try to pick one as the better one or find a way to reconcile them, just allow both to be there. And then just sense, okay, fear to be seen. There's something about being seen that's scary. Longing to be seen. There's something about being seen that's longed for. And just continue to sense both sides. You may find that there's a deepening, that they're actually less different than you thought. For example, fear to be seen might be a fear of being seen wrongly. If I'm seen and they don't understand me, that would be painful, more painful than not being seen. So there's sort of a wanting to be seen rightly. Comes over to the longing. That's just one possibility. I'm just making a guess. What I'm saying is, let both sides be there. Anne writes, I was aware of a hole in my abdomen, a sense of a hole, and I was only offered an image instead of words. Yeah. Well, that happens. It's wonderful how the body process and these places inside us can speak to us in images. Too bad images don't go in the chat very well. But I think that's beautiful. Carolyn writes, I sense the longing for connection with my partner as being a big space through my upper body. Okay, very good. And May writes, something in me is longing to be special for someone. Oh, that sounds really like an important one. Longing to be special for someone. I recognize that right now in my life, I am special for a couple of people who are special to me. And also recognizing that if that were not true, that would be so painful. I would have a big longing then. So maybe there's a natural, almost fundamental human need to be special to someone. And if that is here, if the longing to be special is here, can we recognize it? Can we say, okay, that's all right. I can feel that. No, Longing can be more difficult to feel when it's not being fulfilled. Unfulfilled longing can be painful. Something says, this is so painful to feel, I shouldn't be feeling it. I'll shut it down. And that's so understandable. Let's say hello to the one too that doesn't want you to have to feel it. Someone wrote, 20 years of being invisible by my in-laws' family made me unreachable. Something in me longs to connect with kinder people. Of course, I so get that. I hope that for you too. Lorena writes, I was able to open up into my true self this morning. So I wasn't able to relate as much to loneliness today as I'm with myself. I wonder if loneliness stems from having abandoned parts of myself because I wasn't taught to allow my feelings to be tended to. Wow, I'm sure that's right. It sounds really wise, Lorena. As we turn back toward ourselves, as these lonely places inside of us can feel accompanied by someone, that is us, that doesn't take the place of needing other people in our life, but it does fulfill something that has always been needed. And what I wish for all of you is that you both have an inner relationship of contact, welcome, and company, and you have the people in your life who see you as someone rare and special and important and worth listening to. That's my wish for you today. Thanks for the heart. Yes, yes. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, everyone, so much. This is a beautiful community that you've made for each other. Thank you so, so much. And remember, be gentle with yourself.